Hello, in this opportunity, my classmate Carlos Armando Zelaya Maya and we are going to talk about sub-branches of public and private law. And to start, I'm going to talk about public law. Consists of rule in which one party is the state participating in a legal relationship with a powerful position, thereby exercising its power. Public law also refers to the structure of the state and the fundamental principles of the relationship between the state and its citizens. And here we have the first sub branches, that is constitutional law. The Constitution regulates all legal relations with the state and the law, with powers, fundamental principles of the state, legislation. The Constitution set out the forms of the public order and administrative division of territory, status, and role of supreme holder public violence, human rights. Parliament and its function, legal form, structure, competence, and the principles of procedures that led to it, and its relationship to other elements public systems such as local government. And here we have the characteristics. And the first characteristic is adaptability. Adaptability is one of the most important characteristics of a good constitution. It is ability to adapt to the changing society. A good constitution must be flexible to some extent. It must always adapt to the social, political, economic, technological, and other changes that are inevitable in the life of a country for its development and process. The next one is comprehensiveness. And it is important that the constitutions be comprehensiveness because many people depend on the information contained in it. And the last characteristic is responsibility and accountability. Another essential characteristic of a good constitution is that it ensures accountability in government by making laws which will make the actions of the government illegal whenever that make decisions without consulting the masses. And a good constitution may ensure that public officers, government, and public institutions in the country carry out their duties and obligations with the consent of the people whom they represent. And then we have the examples. The first one is due process of law and the right to a trial. Then equal protection. Then freedom of religion. And then we have the right to free speech. And finally, we have the right to bear arms. And then we have the next sub-branches, that is administrative. But what is administrative? Administrative is that branch of the law which deals with the operation of government as it affects the individual citizens. It is the division of law that governs the activities of administrative agencies of government. Government agency action can include rulemaking, adjudication, or the enforcement of a specific regulatory agenda. And then we have the characteristics. The first one is common. Administrative law is common because it is applicable to all municipal, tax, etc. And then we have local. Administrative law is local because it is closely linked to the political organization of a region. And then we have autonomy. And one of the characteristics of administrative law is autonomy because it enjoys its own general principles. And finally, we have the examples of administrative law. That is the first one, rules, then procedures, then board, then regulation of a government, and finally commission.
Okay, Mr. In this moment, I'm going to talk about the private law. And private law signifies rules that regulate a relationship between private individuals, subjects of the law who are legally speaking in an equal situation. For example, the legal relationship between a buyer and a seller. It could be that where both parties have certain rights and obligations. Okay, both parts. Uh, Private law covers civil law, commercial law, international private law, as well as intellectual property, such as copyright, patent law. Okay, this is private law. Now I'm going to talk about the business law. The business law composes all of the laws that dictate how to form and run a business. This is about business, right? So this includes all of the laws that govern how to start, buy, manage, and close or sell any type of business. Business laws establish the rules that all the business should follow. As a business person will be generally familiar with the business laws, now when to seek the advice of a licensed attorney. Business law includes state or federal laws as well as administrative relation. Okay, let's talk about the characteristics of business law. Okay, we have three important characteristics. We have commercial, specialized, and individualist. These are some characteristics of business law. Okay, now we have some examples. First of all, we have the regulation of the rights and duties of the tribunals. Okay, as well as the duties and rules applicable to the companies or social entrepreneurs, such as their maximum and minimum capital or maximum amount of social responsibility. Okay, the position of the partners, the regulation of the bylaws, the different forms of company, such as corporations, limited liability companies, cooperatives, etc. Number two, we have financial market. Financial market, which would include a law relating to banking institutions, insurance and reinsurance companies, as well as investment services companies, is also part of commercial law. Okay. Also, we have the bill of exchange. The bill of exchange, the promissory note that the check are now as negotiable instruments endowed with a special enforceability to warranty the credit the embody. Okay, this is kind of to pay a little bit something before to give all the money. Okay, we have the contractual example here. It studies and regulates the obligations and rights of commercial contracts, such as contracts of sale, land transportation, checks, promissory notes, credit contracts, etc. And also we have the area of banking. Okay, regulates financial enterprises registered as banks, insurance companies, and fund manager. Fund managers among others. Okay. Now we have the family law. The family law consists of a set of statutes and precedents that govern the legal responsibilities between individuals who share a domestic connection. Those people who are joined by domestic connections are regulated by this law, the family law. Okay, uh, but but we have some characteristic. Okay, the first characteristic is the family law is inclusive because its norms are included in the public order, so they are imperative and available. Also, as a characteristic, we have the community. For family law, the word community implies parents, children, and some other people who were attached to them with the bond of affection, blood, or love. And finally, we have the link. The link as a characteristic of family law because there is a connection between the family law institution and the material institution of individuals. Okay, so we have some example. Number one, We had the divorce. When a couple decides to dissolve their marriage, there are various things to be sorted out. They need to arrive at an agreement to share the debts and assets. Okay. Also, we have the child custody, one of the most important part in this situation. Okay, child custody and visitation concerns. Okay, even the best intentioned parents who were able to come to agreement in the most question surrounding their divorce could find themselves in a state of disagreement with the disagreement when it comes to matter of child custody. Okay, always is so important to arrive a clear agreement um, between the parents. Okay. Also, we have the alimony and spousal support. Alimony and disagreement usually boils down to one spouse trying to receive as much money as possible. I mean, and the other spouse trying to pay as little as possible. Also, we have the motion for modification. The motion for modification, just because a divorce matter has been decided, either through private settlement or in court, it doesn't mean that the spouses cannot later modify the arrangement. This is particularly important for matters of alimony and child support. And the last one, we have the adoption. The family law has various regulations surrounding adoption. These regulations will include to ensure the adopted child's best interests. A couple of individual who wants to adopt a child must comply with this regulation. Okay, this is our presentation about some branches of the public and private laws. Okay, thank you, Mr. Thank you very much for watching this video.